N-bromosuccinate for the
This
bromination of
our break.
olefin. Oh, 1 second. We try. Okay, so we will go for our now next reaction, bromination reaction. So, free radical reactions under that one, allylic bromination we will see. So, normal carbon-carbon double bond, bromination reaction yesterday we have covered how the bromine molecule forms homolytic cleavage, how the Br dot, that is free radical, bromine radical, that we can generate with the help of radical initiators and all this. Okay, so now we will go for allylic bromination. So, allylic bromination and benzylic bromination. So, what is it and how does it work? So we will go for allylic bromination. So allylic group you know, benzylic group you know. Okay, so very well. So first thing, so bromine can selectively react with tertiary CH bond. Bromine, that means Br2, can selectively react with tertiary CH bond, that means tertiary free radical, because bond strength, bond dissociation, as you can say, it's 93 kilocalorie per mole for tertiary. Secondary, for secondary CH bond, it's 96 kilocalorie per mole, and for primary, it's 100 kilocalorie per mole. Okay, so if you will pay attention over here, the bond energy of CH bond which we want to break for the bromination. Okay, so that one, if you will see, there is only for tertiary CH bond, it's 93 kilocalorie per mole. That means we need less amount of energy to cleave the tertiary CH bond. So that's why tertiary formation of tertiary free radical, and due to that we need less energy, and other also criteria we can apply there, that why the tertiary free radical is stable, because first thing, to cleave that bond homolytically we need less energy, that is 93 kilocalorie per mole. This is first criteria. Then another criteria like resonance effect, hyperconjugation effect, that also getting added in that one, and in that way the tertiary free radical is most stable. Okay, so now next one, this one is for the normally, it's for common free radicals, that means methyl radical, ethyl radical, these things. Now we will go for benzylic and allylic radical. That means the radical which are going to generate, that one will come in conjugation with the carbon-carbon double bond. Okay, so these are the things, benzylic as well as allylic radicals. So as we know, benzylic and allylic radicals, they are more stable than the normal tertiary, primary or secondary radicals. Okay, that stability we have already finished that point. So we will go for more stable benzylic radical and more stable allylic radical. So how to do the bromination of those olefin benzylic, that means C6H5, and then carbon-carbon double bond. Okay, extended conjugation outside of the benzene ring, and allylic means carbon-carbon double bond attached to the methyl group. So these things, how that those are going, how those carbon-carbon double bond we can brominate, and what will be the process. Okay, so that one we will see. Now the thing is vinylic, that means sorry, allylic bromination. So allyl group, you know, carbon-carbon double bond attached to the methyl group, and we want to do the bromination of this allylic methyl group. Okay, we want to do the bromination of this methyl group. That means we want to detach one hydrogen from here, and we want to add bromine over here photocatalytically, or we can bypassing heat to this compound. Okay, so now what is the thing, our desired product is allylic bromide. Okay, allyl position, so this one is in conjugation with this bromine atom. Okay, so bromine we want to attach to this methyl group. Okay, so but the what we wanted, this is the desired product, but what you are getting actually, so actually you are getting dibromide product. So this Br2 is getting added to this carbon-carbon double bond by bromonium, that means cyclic 3-membered transition state. Okay, so here is formation of 3-membered state by addition of Br plus, like that we will see on next slide what is that mechanism. So the thing is here, we want to do bromination of this methyl group, but instead of getting addition of bromine to methyl group, bromine we are getting dibromide product. We don't need dibromide product. Okay, that thing we can do on by with this, but what is how we can get only monobromination at the methyl group. We want only monobromination. Okay, so at the methyl group, that we are not getting by this, by addition of bromine catalytically or by passing heat. Okay, and here benzylic bromination. So we do study here two different mechanism, benzylic bromination. So we want to brominate this methyl group. Okay, so here if we will treat this thing with Br2, here you can get this product only, because this is the only product. Okay, the remaining CH bonds, CH hydrogens from benzene ring, it's very difficult to break. Okay, at these reaction conditions. Okay, so it's very selectively you will get here only one product. So see the difference, how we are going to see the difference. In benzylic bromination, you are getting only one product, in which you are getting monobromo product by abstraction of proton from this methyl group. Okay, the abstraction of proton from this methyl group is very easy compared to abstraction of this CH bond from the benzene ring. So abstraction of proton or H plus from benzene ring is not possible at all. So that's why selectively you are getting monobromo bromination at the methyl group. Okay, so one more time again we have to use radical initiators. Okay, peroxides, ROOR, peroxide, or by merely here, merely without this reaction condition also you are getting only this product. Okay, so monobromo product you will get in benzylic bromination, but the same thing is not possible with the allylic bromination. Okay, so this carbon-carbon double bond, that is free. Okay, it's not in conjugation. Here all these three carbon-carbon double bond from benzene, they are in conjugation. So it's not very easy to disturb this conjugation, this cyclic aromaticity. So here is no aromatic sextet, only carbon-carbon double bond, and that's why here are these carbon-carbon double bond. There is more possibility of this carbon-carbon double bond getting brominated, getting dibrominated. This possibility is much more than the monobromo product. So this is the scene. Okay, so we have to think that now what should we do? Okay, how to avoid this? Okay, so this is the okay. Now free radicals are stabilized by resonance. Okay, so here in we have seen that this allylic bromination, this is allylic free radical will generate, and as we have seen the stability instability lecture, that allylic free radical, so free radical resting here on this carbon atom, that one is in conjugation with this carbon-carbon double bond. So that's why that free radical is even more stable. So the free radicals are stabilized by resonance. Okay, resonance means carbon-carbon double bond is present on the adjacent carbon atom, and bond dissociation energy, for example, bond dissociation is nothing but the bond strength. Okay, so measures homolytic bond cleavage. So these are the factors, resonance factors, and how much energy do you need to break that particular CH bond first. By breaking homolytically that CH bond, we can generate H dot, H radical, and carbon radical. So if we need less energy, then that particular carbon hydrogen bond will break more easily, and in that way we can generate easily that free radical. If we need more energy, so definitely that one will not going to happen, that formation of free radical is not going to happen. Okay, then next, so methyl groups aren't ordinary methyl group. The resulting radically generated is greatly stabilized by resonance. That means in allylic bromide, that methyl group is not ordinary. That one is in conjugation with the carbon-carbon double bond, and once that one is always shifting from in between these two carbon. Always these are in conjugation. Okay, the double bond is changing its position. Next, so bond dissociation energy for benzylic and allylic CH bond. It should not be surprising to find that these bond states are quite weak. Okay, 89 to 90 kilocalorie per mole for primary allylic or benzylic radical. So at the first slide we have seen what are the bond dissociation energy for the normal methyl radical, primary methyl radical, secondary methyl radical, or tertiary methyl radical. So there you have seen that for tertiary methyl radical bond dissociation energy less, like 90 kilocalorie per mole. That's why the tertiary free radical, tertiary methyl free radical is more stable. Now here also the same scene is here in benzylic as well as in allylic group. For to break the benzylic CH bond also and to break allylic CH bond also, we need very less energy. It's lying in between 89 to 90 kilocalorie per mole. That's why we can generate that free radical more easily, and as we can generate that free radical more easily, that free radical also getting stabilized by resonance effect. So two very strong points are these strong points helps to generate these allylic or benzylic radical, like tertiary free radicals. Okay, so why those are stable? Because these two strong points, they are in favor of the generation of this allylic free radical or benzylic free radical. Try to understand the concept. Okay, so if you once you understand the concept, it's very easy to go for further reactions. Okay, so pay attention on basic things. I am telling you all basic things. Try to achieve those things. Try to write down in your notebooks. Try to read more things from different books. That would be helpful for you. If you don't understand the basic things, it's really, then it's very mess. If you are go reading on further readings, it's very mess if you don't know the basic things. Okay, next one, free radicals are stabilized by resonance, that we have seen. So here is benzylic CH bond having bond dissociation energy C. Pay attention which bond we are going to break. So this CH bond we are going to break from the methyl group, which has bond dissociation energy 90 kilocalorie per mole. If you will consider the bond in between this carbon atom on benzene ring and CH, that bond dissociation energy much higher. Okay, so we cannot break that bond. It's not easy to break that bond. Okay, so only we have option to break this bond, and we have to generate this benzylic free radical. Okay, and this one is in conjugation with this aromatic sextet ring. So that's why this is more stable. Okay, next one, in the allylic CH bond also, which CH bond we have to break. So here is one CH bond. Okay, so bond CH bond from the methyl group, not methylene group. Okay, this is ethylene group. This is ethylene group. Okay, C carbon carbon double bond CH. As allylic radical, if you abstract proton from this carbon atom, sp2 hybridized carbon atom, so then this generated free radical is much less stable. Okay, this is highly unstable. Okay, if you abstract this hydrogen from the sp2 hybridized carbon atom, so it's less stable. So it's here only possibility to generate the free radical only on this carbon atom, which is sp3 hybridized carbon atom, and we have to abstract proton from the sp3 hybridized carbon atom. So we have to generate this kind of allylic free radical, and to cleave this bond CH bond, we need energy 89 kilocalorie per mole. It's much less than compared to the other. So in that way, only we can detach the bond from the methyl group, not from this sp2 hybridized carbon atom. Okay, so we cannot touch these sp2 hybridized carbon atom for the homolytic cleavage. Okay, next one, what will be the mechanism? Okay, so what will be the mechanism of benzylic bromination with Br2, and reaction conditions are light or heat. So we will go for the mechanism. So for benzylic bromination, hopefully mechanism will be straightforward. Hope so. Mechanism will be straightforward. After initial, as usual, 3 steps: initiation, propagation, and finally the termination reaction, that we have seen very well. So by initiation, by heat or light, bromine radical then breaks the CH bond. Okay, that means Br dot, we got Br dot forming a benzylic radical. Okay, at initiation stage we got benzylic radical. Propagation stage, okay, and then benzylic radical attacks Br2 to regenerate the bromine radical. This is propagation stage, second number, and these 2 steps repeat until the concentration of Br2 runs low. whereupon radical chain termination will occur. Okay, so this is the mechanism. We will see what exactly the mechanism. Okay, so next one we will see now mechanism for allylic bromination. Okay, so initiation, propagation in propagation, there are two different steps, and here is the termination stage. Okay, so first one, initiation. Okay, Br2, we are doing bromination with Br2. Okay, bromination of benzylic methyl group. So that one we will do first. Bromine, how Br2 will add uh, as a by free radical mechanism to the benzylic methyl group. Okay, that one we do. Free radical mechanism, first initiation of Br radical, counting total number of electrons is 7, so it's incomplete octet, so that's why is electron deficient, and it's always it's in search for the remaining or lacking, that lack electron, he is always in search for that one. Okay, that's why it's a unreactive intermediates, highly unstable intermediates. Okay, so as it's highly unstable, we can react this one with our desired molecule to react. As this one is highly reactive, it will react very easily. Okay, so pay attention how the radical reactions you have to represent, and in that way you have to. So we